For this exercise, all you're going to need is a chair or some sort of thing to prop your leg up in a position. I'll show you that momentarily, but I just want to share a little bit about how powerful this exercise has been for me. I've dealt with knee pain and I've had this like tightness on the right side of my hip, going down the whole leg into the foot over the years. And I've had, physical therapy, all kinds of massage work, all kinds of different body work that helped, but never really corrected the issue. I've been using this exercise that I got from a book. The book was Pain Free by Peter Ejaculation. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but really great book with a lot of amazing tools. But this specific exercise helped me tremendously. And I believe that most men, I think it's safe to say pretty much all men, have some sort of kind of dysfunction in their hips, which spreads into the pelvis, the pelvic floor, the legs, the lower back, the core area, can affect the upper body as well, can affect your shoulder, neck tension, all kinds of things that relate to this core area. And this is especially relevant for what I focus on here in sexual kung fu, which is working with your sexual energy, because your hips are very much connected to your sexual center, your sexual expression. There's kind of the cliche about, men, especially white men, being tight asses, having really stiff hips, being able to, dancing from the shoulders and being really stuck up here, not having this like, this grace, which is something that indigenous cultures have, is this free flowing movement through their hips and their waist, because they're connected to the earth. They're very grounded. And in our technological society, we're up in our heads, we're disconnected from our roots. So this practice, if you have pelvic floor tension, if you have any sort of hip stuff, leg stuff, you probably do and you don't realize it, this practice really, really helps to get a deep release fit. I've gotten better results from this specific exercise than anything else I've done. And with that, let's get into the exercise. So here's my chair. You're going to need a chair or something similar, basically something to prop your leg up. All that you're going to do is I prop my leg up like this. So, and ideally we want the knee to be like this straight line from knee to hip. A 90-degree angle here, from torso to hip, a 90-degree angle from thigh to shin, upper leg to lower leg. So we want that to be as straight over the hip as possible. So you want it to be just the right height. So just as, if I don't have a chair, if I extend my leg like this, I should be able to have something that more or less holds my leg pretty perfectly at this height. And again, I get the knee lined up with the hip. It's not super to the left, it's not super to the right, it's right over my hip as much as possible. And I adjust my chair a little bit. It's not perfect, it doesn't need to be completely perfect, but as close as you can get to being right over the hip, as close to a 90-degree angle here and straight from left to right, the better. My lower leg is straight and completely relaxed. And all I'm going to do is lay here and relax deeply. But this is going to take some time. I recommend a minimum of doing this for 5 minutes on each side. The longer you do it, the better release you will do. If you do this for 2 minutes, you get a little bit, but not a whole lot. For me, after about 5 minutes of doing this, I start to feel all this releasing happening. When I first started doing it, I was getting all these spasms in the muscles that were holding on to tension, were not releasing. And you'll probably feel this yourself. As you continue to sit here and breathe and release, you'll start to feel this deep release through the hip. I start to feel this warmth in my hip. I start to feel it radiating, releasing through the whole leg. Basically what this does is it creates an alignment in your hips, and it creates a certain position with your leg to where you can relax and get a deep, deep release. A deep release to the hip that spreads into the core, spreads into the leg and foot. I mean, I was doing this the other day. I felt releasing happening up in my liver, up my shoulder. I felt it all the way up into the crown of my head, this whole line opening up. So it's a profoundly effective practice, but you have to do it, right? So what I recommend, if you're really struggling with if you have knee pain, hip issues, really tight pelvic floor, I recommend doing it for 20 minutes on each side. I've had phenomenal results doing that, but even 5 to 10 minutes on each side is going to give you really good results. So I'm going to guide you through a little bit of how I do this. And you want to do equal time on each leg, so just set a timer. And I recommend starting with whichever side of your body you feel like has more tension, which for me is my right side, but I'm demonstrating my left just for demonstration purposes. Start with the more tense side propped up, because that will start to release. And then when that side's laying on the ground like this, it will continue releasing. That's what I've found anyway. So you sit in, get everything adjusted right, and then you want to just start absolutely relaxing. So breathing deep in the belly, release, release, release. It's like everything is melting. All the tension is melting and releasing. You want to really obviously focus on releasing from the hip joint deep in here, but also think of releasing the belly, the lower abdomen. There's all kinds of, the psoas muscle and all kinds of things that connect here. And really you just want to breathe deeply and feel tension releasing from your whole body, from head to toe. With every breath, you think of breathing into your belly, breathing into the hip. As you exhale, it's like your body's melting into the earth, melting, dissolving. So every exhale, it's like you dissolve, you release more and more and more, and just continue this process. Now, it's important that you keep your mind in this process. You could sit here and read a book and still get benefit from it, but you'll get the most benefit if you really hold the mind within the body, because that's what creates the deepest release, is your mind engaged in the body, feeling the tissues, and having the intention and feeling of releasing with the breath. That will create powerful releases. So equal time on each side, do that. I mean, you could do it every day, that'd be great, but even a few times a week, you're going to have amazing results. Your pelvic floor, your hips, your legs, your knees, even the upper body as well, the lower back, the spine, can get a very deep release and a lot of balance from this exercise. If you struggle with pelvic floor tension, which can cause premature ejaculation and erectile dysfunction, I highly recommend checking out my other video, top 4 exercises for pelvic floor tightness. That will be further support on top of this exercise to really open up this area to free your sexual vitality. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this video, if you got benefit from it. I'd love to hear, and let me know what else you'd like me to address in further videos. Please subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and if you found it helpful, please share it with someone who needs this exercise. Have a great day, my friends.